What is up, fine folks? Welcome back. Episode 8 of Double Tapped. I'm Jay.
I'm Tanner.
Today, Tanner, we're bending the rules a little bit.
Okay.
This is not a beer.
That's true.
I guess in the narrowest of senses, you know, it's probably brewed in some ways.
Yeah.
But this is a hard kombucha from Strange Beast.
Oh.
Nice pop. It is I already forgot what flavor it is. Ginger, lemon, and hibiscus.
Oh.
Very floral.
The can is interesting. It has what I can only describe as Seymour from Pet Sematary, but with a lemon as its face.
Oh. I've
There
never
you go.
seen Pet Sematary.
Nor have I, but I know that's the thing.
Okay,
Feed
fair
me,
enough.
Or maybe it's... Wait. Is Seymour the guy? The plant says feed me Seymour, so maybe it's the guy is Seymour. I don't remember. Anyway.
Feed me a stray cat.
Oh, wait. It's something 2. That's the plant's name. Is like something 2.
Interesting.
Anyway.
We're not going to explore this much further.
No.
Tanner, what have you been playing?
I've played very little this week, just as a heads up.
Yeah.
I've played...
Sorry, I got a diatribe to go on, so...
Oh, you're good. I've played just a little bit of Returnal. I have gotten... So the game is constructed in biomes, if you didn't hear our talk about it last week. And I've gotten pretty deep into the second biome. I've not seen the second boss. I've only played probably 2-3 hours since last we spoke. I know you've played a lot more than I have. I've had a very, very busy week, so I've not had... That's like the only video games I've played all week.
Yeah. So I beat Returnal.
Very nice. Congratulations.
I won't divulge exactly how many biomes and bosses or stuff there are, because I think that's fun to unearth as you play through it.
Yeah, for sure.
However, I'm going to take a little bit of time here and hop on my nice soapbox.
Okay.
And address a few of the criticisms that I've seen out there about the game.
Sure.
Of which the reception of this game has been very positive.
Yeah.
People like the game. People really love the game. But there have been a few specific critiques, some of which we alluded to, talking about the lack of saves and like how deep a run could be, and you could lose all your progress based on either you die or there's just a bug. The bugs that's a different story. I understand.
Yeah.
I encountered multiple bugs through my playthrough. Apparently, the bugs are actually tied to the pre-order suits.
Interesting.
Which a patch, I think, just in the last couple of days addressed.
Huh.
So if you rocked the original suit, you might have had significantly less issues with crashes or bugs or stuff like that.
That's really interesting.
But still, it's not excusable.
Sure.
Know. But for the particular people who were critiquing, like, oh, the runs are too long.
Yeah.
I'm having a 2.5 hour run, and then I'm dying, and I'm feeling like I'm going back to the beginning, and that's where this game is too difficult.
Right.
To which I say, that's your fault.
Get good is basically the
not
summation.
even get good. Like, I understand some people that maybe have a more completionist approach to games.
Sure.
That they're going through, and there's a lot of side branches that you can go to before you go to like a boss.
Yeah.
To upgrade your health, find better weapons, all that sort of thing. Which is all well and good. If you feel like you need to get those things, I pursued a lot of those things myself.
Sure.
But I didn't pursue everything.
Right.
I was not going into every little side door. I was weighing the risks and rewards of
as you should.
Every single door I went through.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
And a lot of the times, if I was getting through rooms, killing every enemy, taking minimal hits, and being able to refill my health, I wasn't going into side rooms. Because
No, you want to keep your momentum.
And I would rather get to the boss quickly and lose.
Yes.
And get a better understanding of the boss's mechanics.
Oh, 100%.
Than to waste an hour and a half just getting side stuff and then go and accomplish the same amount and get reset completely.
Right, exactly.
So, to me, it was more advantageous way to play to have like hour-long runs as opposed to like double that.
Right.
Learn the enemies, learn the bosses, learn the biome, really.
Yeah.
And, at that point, I only had 2 or 3 runs of, fighting a boss, and it's like, okay, I have a good understanding of this. Let me try it one more time.
Right.
Now, that being said, you saw me beat Frike on the first try.
You did, without getting hit, I should say.
I did beat another boss on the first try. I got hit, but it was
still that's hella impressive for that game.
For a game like this, where you're kind of designed to play a biome over and over again.
Yeah.
From that point on, I was pretty much able to just skip right through that biome completely.
Right.
Which sucks because I really love that boss, and I really love the sort of turn the game takes leading up to it.
Oh, cool.
That's a lot. I think the most story revelatory things happen in that portion of the game.
Okay, good to know.
But yeah, I think it's a weird critique to attack the supposed necessity of these multiple hour long runs when really once I discovered that, it actually might be better, once you start to understand the things that are permanent, like you keep your ether, you keep certain things.
Right.
I was like, it might be a good idea to just have a couple of throwaway runs and collect like 3 or 4 ether on each run, and then I just have them going forward, and then I'm going hard at the boss on the next run. Yeah. That's actually a very smart thing to do in one area that I specifically won't spoil, but it becomes almost a necessity, or it did for me at one point in the game.
I'm to address a couple of things. First of all, I'm hoping this week is a lot slower non-streaming work-wise, so I'm going to be able to stream this game a lot this week. So I'm looking forward to playing more of it and discovering more of it. And hopefully, maybe, if I make at least a significant portion of the way through the game, maybe we can do like a deep dive topic next week, doing like almost a spoiler cast kind of thing.
Or at least for like a portion of the show that we can wall off, be like spoiler heavy.
Yeah, because I always put timestamps, so you could always skip ahead if we do that next week. But I will say a couple of things. One, you are naturally very good at shooters. That has always been your thing.
I was going to bring that up too. Like, if this is the style of game that you think you have an aptitude for, maybe I'm sort of preaching to the choir here, and that's not exactly the people who are making these complaints.
I would be curious to see how you take to like a Hades, which is not the type of combat you're usually something that you would pursue.
Fair.
I don't think. I will say this game does have a lot longer runs than like a Hades. Like I said, like the first time I ever beat Hades, like 40-something minutes.
Yeah.
So obviously you can spend 40-something minutes in the first area in Returnal really easily. So,
but what I'll say as well is, that complaint is 100% justified. If this isn't your type of game, maybe you really are just banging your head against the wall. There's nothing you can really do. However, as I got through the game, I started to feel like calling it a roguelite was almost a misnomer, because the number of shortcuts, not to spoil anything about the game, but there's a lot of things that become skippable, and there are certain things you don't have to go back and do once you've done them, which you will uncover, everyone out there who's playing the game.
Yeah.
It is not like you're playing through the entire game every single time, and that becomes increasingly more apparent the deeper into the game you get.
Yeah. I think that varies based on the game, because I know for a fact that Rogue Legacy had a similar thing where once you beat a boss of a biome, not a biome, but a boss of like a level set, you didn't have to beat it again, which is the rule for this game. If you didn't know, once you beat a boss, you beat it. I don't think that's a spoiler, because I think that's something I would want to know going in the game. Be like, okay, once I beat this boss, I'm good. As opposed to Hades, where you do a lot of boss fights. You do, it is you start to finish every time.
Yeah.
But even then, like Dead Cells, I think did something similar. So I will say that I do like the quality of life sort of, once you beat a boss, here you can get to the shortcut quickly. And then it becomes something that I told you recently is like the breakthrough that I had personally at the end of the last stream I did was I was realizing for my skill set, whatever, I was a little underleveled or underpowered going into the later stages of the Biome 2. And so I discovered for me it was better to hang around in Biome 1, get a little bit more, of the currency in the game, get a little bit more equipment or upgrades or better weapons or whatever. And that made me feel a lot more confident going into Biome 2. So.
Sure. Now, interesting counterpoint to that. Yeah. So I did see, I don't remember, I think it was on a Kotaku post about that was sort of outlining the length and certain things of each runs. But they were talking about how it was so necessary to go grind out to get your weapon proficiency higher. Which weapon proficiency in the game basically means the higher your weapon proficiency level, the better higher level guns you will find future going weapons. Forward.
Yeah.
Okay, that's understandable and that's good. If you're in the first biome, you're not going to get any huge jumps. You're just finding everything in the level.
Yeah.
However, when you go to the next biome in this game, you're automatically gifted I think to a certain minimum level of weapon proficiency to match that next biome.
Yeah.
So
you'll never find an underlevel weapon in the biome you're currently in.
Right.
The only way your weapon will be underleveled is if you come from a biome into a new biome. Like if you go from Biome 1 to Biome 2 without finding a gun.
Yeah, but then you're gifted an upgrade at the start of that level.
Right.
So in my experience, and obviously this is,
sure,
take it with a grain of salt, but to me, the minimum level that you're gifted at the beginning of each biome is enough to feel as though you're doing the right amount of damage to all the enemies in that area.
Oh, I would agree with that.
And you can find good stuff. It's more about, to me, finding the type of gun you like and less the level gun you like.
Yes, I totally agree. I would much rather have a level 3 carbine than a level 4 shotgun.
Exactly.
So,
you know, to the people out there, I'd say maybe adjust your approach to the runs.
Yeah.
Maybe
find what works for you.
Yeah, and learn more from short runs
Yes.
instead of trying to make the most out of every single run. I think is a good way to approach the game.
Expect to die.
Yeah. And I will come back. I'll give you my final score for Eternal when we come back at the end of the show.
Nice.
But for now, we're barely going to touch on the news.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a light news week. PlayStation has actually partnered with Discord in an odd turn of events from a story we talked about a while back.
One of the only running narratives of the podcast so far.
Yeah. And another story that I won't even talk about yet because it plays into a prediction.
Okay.
At least of mine, and it might be of yours too.
Right. So,
speaking of predictions.
Yeah, I don't have a reset era thing this week. We're just
That's
going.
cool because we got a lot. This is going to be deep.
Yeah, this might be one of the reasons we're going short this week. So if you're watching this or listening to this, you've probably seen the title of the episode, which is our 2021 E3 predictions or some variant of that. We are doing predictions. Jay and I both love E3 predictions. This is one of the episodes we're going to get most excited for all year, probably.
It'll be this and the actual ones around E3 itself.
Yes. So just so you know, this might end up being, I don't know how long we're going to go, but we were scared that if we did a normal length beginning, this would end up being like a 3-hour podcast. Yeah. So that's why we're kind of running through the normal stuff this week. And as Jay said, it's a light news week anyway. Yeah. So.
And I wanted to get my Returnal thoughts out there, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's never a time limit, so feel free to do whatever you want.
So the structure that we have at this point, we are predicting 5 different conferences, shows. It's hard to determine exactly what to call these.
Yes.
And obviously, PlayStation has not yet announced their formal plans for what they're even going to do around E3. We know they're not going to be at E3 proper.
Yes, but we expect them, as years past, to do something in the weeks around E3.
Yeah, so that's what we are predicting for.
Yes.
And at this point, we are predicting for 5 unique shows.
Right.
Ubisoft, EA, Nintendo, Xbox, PlayStation.
And just to touch on some things, some questions we might get, it is unclear right now whether Bethesda is doing their own show or not. There have been reports saying Bethesda is going to be after Xbox on the kind of one going to the other. There's some reports saying that it's just going to be all one big event. It's kind of hard to tell right now. The only thing that we've seen that anyone is concrete come out and said, Jeff Grubb, who's a games journalist, tweeted that would be that Microsoft would lead into Bethesda. But I think for both of our sakes, it was easier to do it as we're going to basically count Bethesda as part of Xbox. Yeah. The other thing, some people might ask why not a Square Enix talk. A, we don't know that for sure that they're doing a conference yet or not. B, I don't think either of us know enough about Square.
Avengers.
Right. Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
But we both know sort of the Western side of Square, but as far as the JRPG stuff, that's not why you're coming to this podcast. So we're not going to do Square. And I think those are the only 2 that people might PC gaming show. Nobody really cares. I mean, I play tons of games on PC and I never really care.
If anything cool happens at these shows, we're going to talk about it
we'll
later.
Cover it for
but
sure.
We're not predicting it as of now.
It's the same thing with Devolver. You can't predict Devolver, but they might announce something cool.
So we have 5 predictions for each of these 5. So we're going to have 25 predictions each total.
Correct.
With a couple maybe bonus ones thrown in there.
Yeah, I have, just for your all's sake, I basically spent all of my Friday, I think, or a good portion of my Friday, doing all of my predictions. And so I ended up I have in stock, if I want to use them, 11 predictions for Xbox and 10 predictions for PlayStation. Now, obviously, I'm not going to use all those in the official sort of prediction slot, but I will cover the ones that I didn't say.
And in the wake of E3, we will return and address, and each prediction is sort of unique in the way that you could judge if we're going to apply a point for each.
Right.
And some of them might
I guess we should explain this too.
You might get half a point, you might get a third of a point,
Right. Depending on how accurate your statement is, if your point has multiple caveats and only a couple of those hits, there are going to be decimals of points. We're going to be very, very in depth about the scoring for this.
These for sure.
And if someone wants to sign up to second guess our scoring or second check it by the systems we've set, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Certainly, you don't have to.
No. But if somebody is a stat nerd, I love making spreadsheets. If you're into that,
and I imagine we'll probably, because we will be watching at least some of the conferences together.
Yes, and possibly live.
We will probably address. I will have my predictions set there in front of me.
We could even make bingo cards or something. Yeah.
Something like that. So we will come back to that later. But for now,
yes,
let's just make these things. Let's make these predictions. And
we're going to... One other thing. For point's sake, we have already addressed that if you predict something... For example, if you predict something that either like a third party announces or like EA, say we predict something to happen at EA's show, but then EA announces it at Xbox's show, you still get some percentage of a point, even though you didn't say the right show it was at. We're going to count that in some way.
Yeah, we'll just see how it goes. It's obviously very nebulous. This is also a unique year for E3 generally.
Yes.
We didn't have an E3 last year. This is going to be the first all-digital E3.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah. But we're going to start with the two big third-party conferences.
Yes.
You want to start with EA or Ubisoft? I'll let you pick.
I have EA first. Let's just do EA.
EA it is. Which is fun because I really love my EA predictions.
Do you want to go first or second?
You go first.
All right. Also, we've said that... I know there's a lot of caveats, but...
So it makes it fun.
We take this very seriously, yeah. So we have said that there might be predictions that we both have similar ones to. Not saying that is going to cancel out the other one. So we're not taking credit for it and the other person can't predict it as well. I imagine even if we predict similar things, there's going to be nuance. So to get this one out of the way, are we doing it like showy or are we just saying like this is what we think will happen?
I don't think
I have any that are showy.
Most of mine are not overly dramatized. Okay. So
Battlefield 6 is announced.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what's going to be called, but the next Battlefield game is announced. It's set in modern times again. Will be touted as a, quote, true next-gen experience.
I like peppering stuff like that in.
Launches this holiday.
Okay.
That is my first prediction. Now, I will even go to the point where they, like, will say, in quotes, something to that effect of, like, the first next-gen shooter or whatever. They'll say something like that. I think that's going to be their big game of the conference this year.
All right. I disagree with that statement.
Oh.
Because what I think is going to be their big game for the conference is the next Star Wars Jedi game.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I'm going to go as far as to predict a subtitle.
Oh, wow.
Which is almost certainly going to be wrong, but if I'm right,
that'd be amazing.
I get all the points.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it's going to be called Star Wars Jedi: The Chosen Knight.
Interesting.
And I believe that this will get a release, probably like a cinematic trailer with a 2022 release date. No specific window, but I think they'll say it's coming out next year.
Wow.
So that's my first EA prediction.
When did Jedi Fallen Order drop?
It was early 2018, I want to say.
Respawn cranks out shit fast, man. It wouldn't shock me, especially with the news of the Jedi Fallen Order patch that we covered recently. That makes sense.
That's because when you said Battlefield, I was like, oh, PlayStation just put out Battlefield 5 on Plus. I'm like, they're building the hype already. So yeah, any little trickle out of things like that are usually forebears of things to come.
Yes, agreed. All right, I have several EA, so I'm gonna actually have to select one here. Okay, one of my favorite ones, and I'm basically only doing to make you pop a little bit.
Oh,
we will not see gameplay of either BioWare game. We will not see. This isn't counting the Mass Effect the remaster.
The legendary, yeah.
We will not see gameplay of Mass Effect 4. We will not see gameplay of the new Dragon Age. We will not see gameplay of either of those games. I'm almost to the point of saying we won't see anything of those games. I was going to say,
will we even get like a talk of them at all?
They might be like, and with our slate of games coming up, and show the logo or something.
I feel like they'll at least allude to the new Mass Effect game.
Yes,
in some capacity.
I think BioWare is in shambles. I have no source to confirm that. I just feel like it. So that is my next. We've discussed going into it that Jay and I both have. You won't see X's. So
I've got one in this conference.
That's one of my first.
All right. My next one, I'm going to predict a tidbit for a game that I don't really play and don't know too much about, but seems just like a thing that would happen at a show.
Okay.
And it has to do with Apex Legends.
Okay, I almost made an Apex prediction.
I predict that some sort of new character will be announced.
Okay.
And some sort of big event will be teased.
Is it going to be the Titanfall thing?
I don't think so. I think it will be something different.
Not saying that you have to put that on the record.
Right.
Because I think it could be. Because if you didn't know, I forget when it came out, but someone at Respawn said that they're working in Titanfall 2 content into Apex.
Yeah, that's I'm not predicting that, but I mean, if that could be what it is.
Sure.
But
that would not surprise me in any way. We're going to get some sort of Apex update.
Yeah.
But they did just release a new character, although their seasons are like 2 months, so that would make sense.
That's the thing. I don't know much about Apex.
Yeah.
But just the style of game, Battle Royales, like, what are you going to talk about at a conference as big as E3? It has to be something.
A new character. It has to
like
be.
that.
Maybe even a new map.
Yeah.
That game doesn't get maps all the time. All that often or all the time is what I meant to say. All right. My third prediction. Okay. This is an interesting way to phrase this prediction. We get excited for a potential new Star Wars game being revealed, only for it to actually be a mobile game. The title of which is Star Wars Rise to Power. This is a thing, but it's only been in early access on Android like 6 months ago.
Interesting.
So I think we're going to get a Star Wars tease and be like, oh, what's the Star Wars going to think? And it's just going to be the mobile game.
That is a very EA thing to do.
All right.
My next one is my version of the we're not going to hear about it.
Okay.
And to me, I'm going to go as far as say we're not going to get even a whisper about the new NCAA football.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well.
I don't think we see it. I don't think there's a clip. I don't think there's a name drop.
There's not a mention?
I don't think there is anything about NCAA football.
Wow.
And that is a take it or leave it, all or nothing
prediction.
That's
a one-pointer, yeah.
So,
see, I wonder if...
Just because I don't think that... If there's anything, it'll just be... They'll literally say, and we're working on NCAA football.
And with our new acquisition of the NCAA rights. Right.
Because they can't show a clip of anything because I still don't think they've worked out the right stuff with the NCAA.
Oh, they've not made anything on that game yet.
So they're still... Yeah.
I wonder, though, if... Because the thing with EA, a lot of people have given EA crap in the past at E3 for sports overleaning into sports. Mm-hmm. I think the last EA play they did wasn't sports heavy at all, if I remember, because that had It Takes Two was in it, and they had some other indie dev with their EA indie stuff. I wonder if I could either see it going at one of two ways, where either they lean away from sports again and realize, okay, E3 isn't for the sports fans, or they go, well, we got Tiger Woods, we got NCAA,
hear about that.
Here's the sports package. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see, but I think that's a pretty decent bet. I don't think I'd bet against you. We discussed possibly doing a bet against way of getting points, but I think that might be too nebulous. Yeah.
There'll be plenty of discussions to be had just about the minutia of each.
All right, I have 2 predictions left, but 5 predictions written.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to go for my safest bet.
Okay.
A new Need for Speed is announced. Simply called Need for Speed.
Oh.
Slated for 2022.
That's pretty fair. You think it's more of a platform type of game?
I think it's just a reset.
Okay. You don't think it's more like a persistent, almost MMO-esque?
Like games as a service thing?
Yeah.
No, I think there was I want to say there was a sniff of a rumor of them eventually going back to yearly Need for Speeds, but they haven't done it yet. So I think that might be the case. And to start that off, they might just go, okay, this is Need for Speeds.
That's absolutely one of those things. It's if it happens, there will be a pop, and the pop will just be, oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Need for Speed.
Yeah. Well, racing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My next one. We said we heard literally nothing about NCAA football. PGA Tour, on the other hand, is back, baby. We get a trailer, and my prediction is going to be for what's in the trailer.
Okay.
Beauty shots of Augusta National.
All right.
Which, for those of you who don't know, is the golf course where the Masters is held every year.
The largest golf tournament.
And the last shot of the trailer will be a Tiger Woods fist pump.
Nice.
That is my official prediction.
I didn't write this down, but I almost did as a prediction. Tiger Woods records a message.
No chance at all that happens.
Yeah, he's probably still recovering from his horrific car accident.
Yes.
All right. Okay, I'm going to go with my other, what I feel like is a decent bet.
Okay.
We are finally shown first gameplay footage of Skate 4.
Tanner, my last prediction is coming out next year. We get a demo.
2022 is shown as a date.
Showing off that slick, sophisticated skating sim gameplay.
So we both have the same
that one.
Skate 4 gameplay 2022.
Exactly.
That's wild.
That's
all right.
awesome.
I mean, that's the way it works. To quickly cover, which I guess I don't need to go too quick, but to cover the other ones that I didn't go with.
Yeah.
In all caps, EA finally brings back NBA Street. It's not going to happen. They'll this one's fun. They'll show the PopCap logo, and I'll get excited, but it'll just be another Plants vs. Zombie shooter.
Oh, no.
And then the other one that I think could happen is we see the next game from Coldwood Interactive, who made Unravel, but it won't be an Unravel. Okay. It won't be like a sequel to Unravel.
Yeah. I didn't write down any supplemental. I've got my 5, and I'm sticking to
you're
it,
very...
baby.
You're locked and loaded. All right.
Ubisoft it is. Tanner, I'll go first this time.
All right, lead us off.
Because I really like this prediction.
Okay.
We will learn Far Cry 6's release date before E3.
Oh!
With an extended demo to follow at the conference.
Interesting.
I'm betting on a leak.
Oh, okay, so we're
like,
not saying official announcement.
It could be either one, but I think we will know the release date of Far Cry 6 before Ubisoft's conference.
That's smart. I like this prediction a lot because Ubisoft of the devs is always the one to have a leak.
Yeah, I could totally see it being they tweet out like Far Cry 6 coming September 7th, 2021.
Watch
E3. I could see that happening, or I could just see Jason Schreier tweeting Far Cry 6 is coming out and
right.
Ubisoft being like, damn it, again?
Are we getting to the point where Jason Schreier is the Woj of games? Okay, to just go with that, I say Far Cry 6 is sort of re-revealed and it's given an August launch date.
Okay,
I can see that. I bet on a month.
Bet it's either early fall or like December. I think it's probably. I don't think they don't
avoid holiday.
Yeah, they don't
directly.
bury that in October, like with all the other big titles. So wait, you're going with that was your first official one?
Yes, that was my first. I only have 5 for Ubi.
My second one then. Tanner, do you remember Skull and Bones?
I do. I was looking into this earlier.
Skull and Bones will finally resurface. And even though it should have been done by now, the release date just says 2022.
Perfect. I love it. Is Skull and Bones the one that the guy with the cool cane was For Honor?
Yes.
The old guy with a great voice.
I think so.
I think that was For Honor, but it was the same show that they announced For Honor and Skull and Bones, which was like 3 years ago?
I think it was 17 or 18.
It was a long time ago. Yeah, this is if you don't remember Skull and Bones, you're like, what the hell is that? It's the pirate boat game.
Yeah, it was a sort of a spin-off of the naval combat engine that spawned in Assassin's Creed Black Flag.
Yes.
Yeah. I bet that game, if it comes out at all, comes out and is just very dated seeming, if I had to guess.
I would imagine... what is the... oh, God. Why can't I think of the name of this game? The Rare C game for Microsoft.
Oh, Sea of Thieves?
Sea of Thieves. I feel like... Because Sea of Thieves surprised me with how much it grabbed people. I feel like they think that's what it's going to happen, and then it's just not.
Oh, no.
I feel like this is going to be like a plus game in like 3 months.
If you've played any of the Assassin's Creed games with naval combat...
It's fine.
And I'm like, how much deeper could they possibly get with it? If
exactly.
That is the pretty much beginning and end of the gameplay.
I think the reason, because they do it in Odyssey too, I think the reason that combat works is because it's a palate cleanser in a way. Yeah. Whereas like that as an entire game, I don't think I really want to play.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. I feel like this one is almost a lock.
Interesting.
I feel very confident in this. A big deal is made out of their partnership with Oculus. Includes either, or maybe both, an Assassin's Creed or Splinter Cell VR trailer.
Oh. Interesting. And now it has been confirmed that Ubisoft is working on a Star Wars game.
We'll talk about that later,
Okay.
Jay.
That's not in my predictions, so I'll be curious to see what you say about it. Speaking of Splinter Cell.
Whoa.
And a couple of other things.
Whoa.
There will be no sign whatsoever. You will not hear a whisper. The only thing, Sam Fisher might show up in like a vignette for like, or he was in
Rainbow Six.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to count that.
Right, that doesn't count.
There will be no sign of Splinter Cell, Rayman, or Beyond Good and Evil 2. You will not hear a whisper about anything about those 3 franchises.
Jay,
nothing.
We are in a similar mode in some ways and not in others. One of my predictions, well, actually 2 of mine work with this, so I'm going to do this one first.
Sure.
They finally announced a new Splinter Cell game, is one of my predictions.
I hope I'm wrong.
I feel like they've been eking him out in certain cases. And by the way, I will count Splinter Cell VR. I will count it.
Okay. Yeah,
if
I know,
it's
I would
called
too.
Splinter Cell, or if it has Splinter Cell in the title.
If that's the game, it's going to be like a full-on like Half-Life Alyx situation. Where, like, this is a real
would
VR.
hope.
You would hope.
Yeah.
I hope it's not like a Batman Arkham VR. It's just like 2 hours of,
Yeah.
looking at things like Batman would look at them.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's go be Batman, but just the detective part.
Yeah. All right. My 4th prediction for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
The Prince of Persia remake,
Oh, right.
on the other hand, is back in full force with a demo showing side-by-side
Nice.
gameplay
Very good.
of old versus new, Sands versus Time,
Yeah.
versus the new one. Spring 2022.
Okay. This was... Didn't they... This is the new Ubisoft studio, right? It's like Ubisoft Mumbai or
I
something
don't
like that.
recall exactly.
It's one of the... Or it's Bombay now. Sorry, not Mumbai anymore. Or maybe it's the other way around. I forget how that city works. But yeah, I want to say... And I want to say the story for this was like some smaller studio pitched, we really want to do Sands of Time.
Yeah.
And they were like, okay, we'll like buy you out basically. But I think I don't think that was like a story. I think they talked about it in the demo for Sands of Time.
Right.
I can't remember. This was like a whole complicated thing.
Yeah.
But
Either way, I don't really care about this game, but I do think it's
I think
there.
I think it's a lock. I think that's a really good one.
I think the only thing about it is the release date. I don't know if
Sure.
I could see that being everything from 2 months away to like 2023. Like I could see any of it.
The other one that was very close to yours, my 4th prediction, we don't see or get a date for Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yep.
I think that game is still just gonna hide.
That might be the biggest like development hell
Yes.
game that I've seen in a long time.
Since Last Guardian.
Yeah, like which is just funny because they seemed so jazzed when they first like revealed it or re-announced it or whatever that was.
Do you remember the this game is gonna be wild no matter when it comes out. One of the first things they said about a game that definitely doesn't exist was how user creation was going to work. Do you remember this?
Nope.
I think it was called... I don't think it was called Beyond Good and Evil U, but it was something like that. Where
I wish
it was like...
was.
It was this thing where they were like, and if you have any good ideas for Beyond Good and Evil...
Send them our way.
Put it on this website. No, seriously, it was
Yeah.
a thing, and it was so weird.
That's funny.
That game seems like it's never going to come out.
Well, what about a game that's already out?
What?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla
Oh.
will get a DLC pack with one of the Norse gods in the name.
Oh, very nice.
Like Thor's revenge or Odin's knowledge.
Odin's fury, yeah.
Loki's trickery. Like, I don't know. Something like that.
Oh, you should have bet on Loki just for the Disney hits.
Yeah, I was kind of... If
That
I
would
had to
actually be a
lean,
good marketing move.
I think for video game purposes, if they're going to do one, it'll probably be Odin something.
Yeah.
Just because, not to, rip off God of War, they'd probably avoid... Well, I won't spoil certain things about God of War.
yeah. I was like, whoa, watch what you say there, bud.
But obviously, God of War, a lot of allusions to certain
Norse stuff, yeah.
that they might not want to replicate.
Yeah.
And I mean, they talk about Odin too in God of War. They talk about all of them.
All right. My last prediction for Ubisoft, and I'm excited because we're still getting to the exciting ones in my head. The last one. We see an early peek at the Star Wars game Massive, who made The Division, is working on. It's nothing over 60 seconds.
Very brief glimpse.
Yes. It might even just be a logo.
Yeah.
Like,
I can see something like that happening.
Yeah.
And you don't think that it would be like a third-person action game in the vein of the EA Jedi games. You don't think.
Would it be a Star Wars shooter?
Maybe like a
Could be
sort
cool.
of a reboot of the Battlefronts.
Yeah.
Like older style. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really have no compass direction to go on for Ubi's game, but
Nor do I.
I'm semi-interested because it's
Yeah, me too.
Star Wars. All right. Now we're moving on to the big first-party console developer conferences.
Yes.
And we're going to start with the one that I think we're both the most uneducated about.
Yes.
And I don't know. It's just hard to say, but we're going to start with Nintendo.
Nintendo's a hard one to predict.
It is always like weird to predict.
You want to predict big stuff, and then there's like one big thing from the conference. It's like, all right, well, Nintendo did their thing.
Yeah, so we're pretty much taking 5 shots at the one thing that they're probably going to end up doing.
Am I starting this one?
Go ahead.
All right. The only one that I feel pretty... Well, I don't know. I feel kind of confident in some of these. Crash Bandicoot is announced for Smash.
Oh!
That is my prediction. I think there'll be a Smash character reveal, and Smash community has been talking a lot about Crash lately. Yeah. So
I thought about a Smash character reveal, but I had nothing to go on. So
another Fire Emblem character. You like swords? We got you.
Now, I could see it being... I mean, Sora has been the talk of the town forever now.
Yeah.
Which at this point makes me think that it's never going to happen. But
right.
I also could not care at all.
No.
So
I'd be semi-excited.
I would be much more interested if it was Crash.
Small aside. Have you seen where people were making out movesets and shit for Clippy?
I don't know, but at first it was like, have you seen where people were making out? And I was like, where are we going with this?
Sorry.
Clippy, the
paper clip.
No, I have not seen that.
When they first did like the Microsoft stuff with Doom Guy, I guess. Or wait, was that what it was? Anyway, there was something about just like, what if Clippy was in Smash?
That'd be kind of awesome.
It was cool because like it was kind of like a Kirby or Mr. Game & Watch thing where it would turn into different shapes and stuff. It was fun. It was a fun couple weeks on Twitter.
Anytime, I mean, that's always a fun, like, oh, Smash. Oh, who's it going to be? Like, always a fun thing to speculate about. Now, I'm going to start with the big guns for Nintendo.
Okay.
The Switch Pro is confirmed.
Okay.
But it is not coming out this year.
Oh, okay.
But it is $399.
All right.
Spring of next year. That is my official guess.
Okay.
I feel like if it was coming out this year, we already would have had it confirmed by Nintendo. I could be wrong. We'll see.
Jay,
I knew you would have one like this as well.
My prediction in this front, the Switch Pro is announced. It's out this holiday. And there is a bundle with Breath of the Wild 2.
Tanner.
This is all just...
Breath of the Wild 2 will launch alongside the Switch Pro.
Whoa!
Whenever that may be.
Okay, fair.
If dates aren't specific, they will be announced to be in the same release window. So I'm going to count that, like if it is this year,
right?
Like I'm going to say, regardless of when it is, Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be right there with it.
Yes.
But then my separate prediction is that it won't be till the spring.
Right. I have another Breath of the Wild prediction.
Okay, keep going. Let's I can promise actually, never mind. Keep going.
Breath of the Wild 2 is this year. Zelda is teased as playable.
Oh.
There's going to be something in the gameplay where we see the camera over Zelda's shoulder.
So you think there's going to be gameplay of Breath of the Wild 2 at this show?
Yes.
Tanner,
if it's this year...
There will not be gameplay of Breath of the Wild 2 at this show. Skyward Sword HD will be the focal Zelda game at this show.
Please don't do that.
With a demo showing us how the Joy-Cons can be used to mimic the Wii motion controls.
Didn't they already kind of do that?
They showed us that. I think there will be a more in-depth sort of thing. But I think that would be such a Nintendo thing to do.
Oh, without a doubt.
To be like, hey, Breath of the Wild 2 is coming out this year. Here's a trailer for Skyward Sword HD, though, to hold you over in the meantime.
The funny thing is, that's basically what they already did. And I almost wrote as a prediction that there will be another Zelda remaster announcement.
I thought about that.
But then, because that's been the rumor for a while. But then I was like, nah, it's Nintendo. I don't want to bet on them doing the good thing.
Yeah, I'm done pinballing back and forth unless you've got another one.
No, I'm done.
That chain ends there.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Metroid Prime 4, the game that has also been in development hell, is re-revealed.
Yeah. I almost did one of the ones that was like, it is not going to be there,
and it is set for 2022.
There. Yeah, there's no way they're just going to drop that game on us pretty suddenly, I don't think.
No.
But if I had to predict, I would still predict that it's not going to be there.
Oh, I get that for sure. I just feel like they're going to want, like we said, this is like taking stabs at a moving target and just seeing if you hit.
Yeah. Tanner, there is one regard that this E3 was made for me.
Okay.
And that's the fact that there's a very good chance that we see 2 golf games. Mario Golf Super Rush
Oh, right.
will be shown to feature at least 2 characters from the Nintendo Extended Universe. So non-Mario characters.
Okay, so like Link,
Fox, like whoever.
Squid Lady.
Yeah, something like that.
She's called.
We will get 2...
Ink Baby.
Inkling? Is that what they're called?
Pin Girl. I'm just trying to think of Ink stuff.
Oh. I was like, is that a character from a game I don't know about?
I was intentionally coming up with stupid names.
Yeah. I think that very much in the vein of Mario Kart, they'll have some sort of...
They'll start opening it up.
Exactly.
All right. My last one for Nintendo. What? Nintendo. Mario Odyssey 2 is the one one more thing.
No. I mean, yes, I want it to happen.
And it's coming next year.
Oh, God.
That's I'm saying if Mario Odyssey 2 happens, I don't know why I'm betting on this specifically, but it'll be the one more thing and be like, by the way, we have one more thing to show you.
It would be such an interesting thing for them to do direct sequels for both Zelda and Mario.
I think it's going to happen.
Which would, I mean, it wouldn't be shocking considering the success and reception of Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey.
Right.
But that's just usually not been their MO to do such direct parallel to the most recent games.
Even if it's not called Odyssey 2, I'm saying the follow-up.
Yeah, it
to
will be
Odyssey.
it will be Odyssey-esque in its gameplay and that sort of stuff. I would, oh my gosh, I would lose my mind.
Oh, it'd be so excited. Good. It'd be so freaking good.
Who cares about Breath of the Wild 2?
I mean, I do.
Me a little bit. I care more about Mario Odyssey. My final prediction.
Right.
This is my most random prediction of probably my whole list.
Okay.
There will be one wildly unexpected port.
Okay, define wildly unexpected.
Like,
are you saying of a game we've never heard of?
No, I'm saying of some random I don't know. It's hard to quantify. And it's kind of a know it when you see it kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
But there will be a game that we'll see and we'll be like, that's coming to Switch.
So it doesn't have to be a Nintendo game.
No, it's going to be a not Nintendo or some sort of third party game that has not been released prior on Switch.
Okay.
Kind of like how when Skyrim was we're bringing Skyrim to the Switch.
Right.
Something in that vein is going to be announced for the Switch.
Among Us is coming to Switch. I think that's already confirmed.
I think it's already on there? Or am
I
wrong?
Fall Guys is already on there, I think. Yeah. Or is coming there? I can't remember.
It's coming. And that got delayed, actually.
Oh, interesting.
Because it was coming to there and Xbox. Doesn't matter.
Speaking of Xbox.
Oh!
Is that our next...
Wait, did you finish yours?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, let's go on. Xbox.
You're up first, I think.
All right. Let me find my list here. There it is.
I have a lot here.
Right.
I gotta pick and choose.
I like this first one. Starfield is re-revealed.
Okay.
With a fall 2021 release date, and it will be a timed Xbox exclusive.
Interesting.
Just like they did with Rise of the Tomb Raider. Because this game is all
throwback.
Well, you remember that, right?
It was
for a
year.
It was
6 months. Or was
something.
it a year?
It was something like that. But this would be the perfect thing because we are fairly confident that they're still going to release the PlayStation version.
Yeah.
But what a perfect way to still treat it like an exclusive.
Be smart.
So that was my first prediction.
Jay, I'm gonna this is not a prediction, but I did have a Starfield thing written down, so I'm just gonna say that now. And my thing was Starfield shown will not be an exclusive and is not this year.
Wow.
That was my tentative guess, but I'm not making that an official prediction because I have too many. Halo Infinite is re-revealed. It's coming this holiday, and we will say it looks significantly better than the last time we saw it.
We will say that. Because I said, and this is my second prediction, Halo Infinite gets a significant visual upgrade.
Why do we both say the word significant?
And a gameplay demo revealing open world exploration elements will be shown. So showing how you can actually traverse the Halo itself.
Yeah.
We will get a lot of, nods to that. And I said late October is the release date.
You picked a real date.
Because that's always the big shooter time window.
The shebang.
Late October, early November.
God, I have so many of these. I almost want to do more just because they're so fun.
You can sprinkle them in at the end.
That's true. All right. Sinuous Saga Hellblade 2 is shown. Looks incredible. And it's coming early next year, first half of 2022.
Interesting. I don't know a ton I know that game. Is that game already been announced and confirmed? Or?
Yes, there was a cinematic trailer.
Yeah. Did you play the first one?
No, but I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. But it also seems like a game that like I don't know it would be for me. It seems like a game that implies more action than it actually lets you play through.
I know there's some puzzle solving. From what I've seen, do you remember this is a weird comparison, but do you remember in Horizon when it wasn't the combat and you were like going through the vaults and stuff?
Yeah.
A lot of the gameplay reminds me of that.
Okay.
Where it's like you're kind of solving puzzles around you and eking out the story. But then again, I haven't seen a lot of this game, to be fair. Because it's one of those games when a friend was streaming it, I'd watch like 15 minutes and be like, this looks cool enough that I don't want to spoil. So I would get back out.
Interesting. All right. My next prediction.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much predicting this. That way, if they break my heart, I can at least say I got this prediction right.
Oh, okay.
The Elder Scrolls 6 gets a subtitle.
Oh.
A brief outline of the setting.
Okay.
But there's nothing more than that. It's very brief. No date. But they announce that it will be an Xbox exclusive.
Oh, that's very good. I think I wrote down and then crossed out Elder Scrolls 6 is an Xbox exclusive, but I don't.
So like at least I'll have this prediction to fall back on if they
break.
What
your
would
heart.
suck is if they don't do it this year and then do it later. But you know.
Exactly. God. Okay. So if you're listening, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, 8 predictions because I said Starfield one, and I have 3 to choose from the 8. So I got to really wind down. Okay. A big deal is made of CrossfireX, that Chinese game that they announced acquisition of.
Oh yeah.
And they tout, which is real, Remedy doing the single player.
Interesting. I
feel like that's going to be like a, hey, look out for CrossfireX. Yeah. I feel like that's going to be a big thing.
I don't know. That didn't even cross my mind, and plus I don't know much about CrossfireX to begin with. I don't either.
Well, the Chinese one's called Crossfire, I think. I just know that recently it was announced that Remedy's doing the single player.
Yeah.
So I feel like we'll get some sort of like trippy Remedy single player shooter stuff as a trailer. And we'll be like, what the hell is this? And it's CrossfireX. And I'm like, oh, right.
And I mean, if they announce that Remedy's doing it, I'll at least be with my newfound, do I want to say love for Control? Is that the word that I want to use?
Appreciation?
A deep appreciation for Control. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be kind of excited about that.
Yeah, me too.
All right, my 4th prediction for Xbox. An updated Elite controller will be shown off.
Oh.
And teased as having, this is my version of like, a specific phrase that they'll use.
Yeah.
They'll say something like advanced haptics.
Okay, that makes sense. That's good.
To sort of combat the
DualSense. Yeah. I like that a lot.
I said advanced haptics or some BS like that.
Right.
But no release date. They'll just talk about it.
It's coming.
Working on.
Yeah.
We might see like a mock-up of it, but that's about it.
God, I have too many. All right. It's happening here, I think. Hades is shown.
Oh.
It's coming to both an Xbox and PlayStation this summer. Will be on Game Pass day 1.
Dang.
Supergiant might as well make that good Xbox money. It had a year exclusivity, and I think it launched around this time last year. I think it's going to be at one of the E3 shows. This was the specific one that I was like, if it happens at PlayStation, do I still get partial credit?
Sure.
Because I think it's happening somewhere.
I would be very surprised if that happened at PlayStation, actually.
I would. It feels like more of an Xbox thing.
Yeah.
Or to just like get credit for it. Or PC gaming or something.
Or just like a tweet around the show or something random. True. But yeah, that's a good, I like where your head's at there. And I would be excited just because of all the praise for that game. I really want to try it.
Yeah.
My last one. All Game Pass Ultimate members will be getting full xCloud access by November 1st of this year.
Wow, that's a very specific date. I forgot about xCloud. So what exactly is xCloud again?
I don't really know that much about the details.
Yeah.
Other than it seems to be the most comprehensive version so far they have of like streaming like games on non-traditional platforms.
Right, okay.
So maybe if you have like the xCloud access on your phone or on your smart TV or like, you know, something like that. And I don't know where they've planned on launching it so far. I know they did a beta that I want to say was on like Android that was just like last month.
Yeah. I saw, I think Paris tweeting about it.
Something like
Paris
that.
has talked about xCloud a lot.
So yeah, I think that they're going to do a more full rollout of that, and they will announce that formally, but just for Game Pass Ultimate people.
Man, I'm so split on two. Do I go with the more hype option or the score safe option?
Well, I would say go with the more hype option because I don't feel overly confident about most of mine. So like, I feel like you're not going to shoot yourself in the foot too much.
All right.
By going with the hype, and hype is fun.
Fable is announced. It's just called Fable.
I like that's
no date. We don't get a date for it. It just says Fable. I don't know if it's just a logo. I don't know if it's like someone talking about Albion. I don't know if it's going to be something like that.
Wasn't there like some sort of tease about Fable?
So forgive me because is it Playground that does Forza?
Maybe, I don't know for sure.
They're the ones doing it. They were like given the IP. So I think it's happening. It's just a matter of when. All right. To quickly go through the ones I didn't say.
Hit me with them.
I said the Starfield one already.
And I'll give you any pushback I have.
All right. We see first bits of gameplay of Perfect Dark's remake. 2022 is the date for that. This is a really fun one that I almost said, but we get a cute Master Chief and Doom Guy are best friends trailer. It's going to be like overly comic. This was the other one that I was contemplating, the more safe one. Tim Schafer is brought out to introduce Psychonauts 2, and it's due later this year. I feel pretty confident about that.
There's been a lot of talk about Psychonauts 2. Some people speculating that they might just shadow drop it, but
would make sense. The game that maybe I'm most excited for under the Xbox umbrella, 12 Minutes gets a final trailer.
Oh, that's the top-down.
Yes, that has the Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, like
and
the voice cast is like
Daisy
insane.
Ridley one of the other people?
I think
There's
so.
a lot of like really, it's because I'll tell that story in a minute. And I said it gets a final trailer and it's coming out in the next 90 days, possibly an out now game.
Yeah.
And then the last one was Witchfire is shown from the developers of Vanishing of Ethan Carter. That has been a game that's been like development for a long time.
Yeah.
12 Minutes. So this is I
want to look up the exact voice cast of it.
Okay. I want to say it's Willem Dafoe, Daisy Ridley, and someone else.
I'm pretty sure there were 3 big names.
Yeah, there was another big actor. So 12 Minutes originally started as this guy. His name is Luis something, I think. It's like his baby. It's a top-down Groundhog Day style game where you basically have to. You're like being accused of a murder. It's like a murder mystery, but it's in a Groundhog Day formula.
James McAvoy.
I almost said McAvoy. Okay, I was between him and like Tom Hiddleston. But then it looked so promising when he debuted it. He actually showed it on Kinda Funny like 6 years ago, like forever ago. It was one of their first like ever exclusive like reveal things. That's when I first heard of it and fell in love with the idea of it. It looked so promising that Microsoft bought the rights to it, and then eventually A24 got involved, which is how all these actor names are in, I think. Or maybe it's Annapurna.
It's Annapurna.
That's it,
They're
sorry.
publishing it.
Annapurna also does film stuff. So that's how this happened, but I think at some point the game kind of grew and was reshaped once all this influx of publisher money came in and became more of a big idea. But that game, it's already been in like Tribeca Film Festival. Like it's announced for this year's Tribeca Film Festival, so it has to be soon. So I think that's a pretty safe bet too, but I don't know. It's not
very fascinated
not
by
as
that
hype.
game. Just
I'm very excited
curious
about the idea
gameplay, curious about the story.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, you pull a cast like that for a game.
Oh yeah.
That I'm gonna say
Willem Dafoe in a murder mystery. I'm so in.
All right. Sony.
And now the one we love.
All right. So this is you start on this one, right? I don't remember. You just start.
Okay.
That's fine.
Oh God, what do I want to start with? All right. A new service is unveiled as a competitor to Game Pass called, not part of the points, but I want to try, PlayStation Universe. Existing PlayStation Now subscribers will be turned into PSU subs when it launches later this year.
What sort of broad format do you envision for something like that?
So I think, one, they're going to rebrand it because I think a lot of people are confused as to what PlayStation Now is and how it's different from Game Pass, but not exactly the same.
Yeah.
So I think PSU, or whatever they end up calling it, will be rolled more into the store page. So if you're familiar with Xbox, Game Pass is it's right in front of you. Here are all the games you could download right now if you just had Game Pass. Whereas even on PS5, PlayStation Now is often the subscriptions thing, and like if you don't know it's there, you may not even realize. Like you don't know about PlayStation Now. I think that's a big part of it. I think just the optics of they have PlayStation Now, but it's not quite Game Pass, and people. I guess I'm kind of repeating myself there, but like rebranding it is a really good idea. I also think they'll tout more of like exclusives coming there day one or something along those lines. Like once an exclusive's been out 6 months, it's on there, whatever.
I was workshopping a prediction in a similar vein. And I have one that it's not directly connected, but sort of has the same, I'll get to it later.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, I think if they do it, I think they'll keep PlayStation Now and just keep the name and totally just sort of revamp it and say we're literally adding like 500 games right now to PlayStation Now, and make a big deal and have it sort of become the new, instead of touting PlayStation Plus every month,
right? It's the hub.
It becomes the new thing that you want to have if you're on PlayStation.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, if you have Game Pass on Xbox, that doesn't mean you have Xbox Live, right?
I don't think so.
But Ultimate has it all.
Right.
Gotcha.
There's a $10 version that's the standard,
and there's a $15
which is Ultimate.
Yeah. But Xbox Live is called Xbox Network now.
Oh, really?
They changed the name, or they're going to change the name. This was a story like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I like vaguely remember. Oh, well. Tanner, let's talk about the other news story that happened this week.
Whoa!
Sony has trademarked Sunset Overdrive.
It has.
So, what logically follows, Sunset Overdrive is coming to PS4 and PS5.
Okay.
With enhanced visuals on next gen.
Right.
But no whisper of a sequel. We are just getting
I think that's safe.
That game on the new console.
Insom's busy enough.
Oh, yeah. With this. Yes, they are.
Oh. Jay's Insom heavy.
I love Insomniac.
Me too. How many teams are there? Because they crank out shit all the time.
I don't know, but to have the two IPs going concurrently that they do right now is like Naughty Dog levels of quality and consistency. Hopefully they can keep it up.
They launched Miles Morales like 6 months ago and Ratchet's next month.
Yep.
That's crazy. Shout out to Insom. And they just crank shit out. All right. We get a reveal of a brand new Quantic Dream game.
Ooh.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it?
Yep. Just a new Quantic Dream game.
Disconnected from Detroit.
Yeah, it's a new IP.
Okay.
Completely new IP.
Which would probably be smart of them to...
Yeah. They've never done a sequel.
Really?
I don't think so.
I didn't know that.
It was Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls, Detroit. And then they might have done something before that, but Heavy Rain's when I first started them.
Detroit seems like the kind of thing where tailor-made to just be like Detroit... New subtitle.
Or Chicago Become Human.
Oh.
Or DC Become Human.
Yeah.
I could totally see them doing that. I like that format, but
that would be cool.
It wouldn't surprise me, but I think it's a brand new IP.
Yeah. I think it's fair. So, my next one. To stick with Insomniac while we're at it. Insomniac's Spider-Man 2 will be unveiled with a very brief teaser trailer. Very brief.
Okay.
Featuring a very symbiotic Screech.
Oh.
So teasing.
Right.
I guess.
Symbiote.
Yeah. Venom, more or less. What percentage odds did you put on anything Spider-Man 2 showing up?
I don't think it's here. I think...
Spider-Man was 2018.
Yeah. And they did Miles Morales last year.
Shorter.
Sure.
Effectively the same
engine and
structure.
Right.
You're going to be playing in New York, unless they do some really weird curveball.
Far from home thing, yeah.
So I think that if there's a game that they could continue to just iterate on quickly, that's kind of tailor-made for it. So I could see them teasing it this year, gameplay next year, release next holiday.
I mean, I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's there. I
think it's a little fast. I wanted to have some fun,
I think they have too much on their plate.
Yeah.
Like God of War Ragnarok.
Wait, what?
What's the subtitle?
But wait, who's got too much on their plate?
Oh, Sony.
Oh, okay. I mean,
for the show.
Now I got you.
That is the subtitle, right?
Well, I don't think he technically confirmed that is a subtitle, but they did say like Ragnarok is coming.
All right, well, God of War 2.
For all intents and purposes, I also have it called God of War Ragnarok in one of my predictions.
God of War Ragnarok, whatever the sequel to God of War is. Gameplay is shown.
Yeah.
Gameplay.
Yeah.
And it gets a date no later than June next year.
All right, Tanner. This is where we're going to go to blows on this one.
Uh-oh.
God of War Ragnarok gets a cinematic trailer with brief gameplay snippets.
Okay. Which would still align with mine. Gameplay shown.
The release date simply says fall 2021.
I almost did that.
It's coming out this year.
Which, I mean, to be fair, that would still apply to mine. I just said no later than June.
Fair, but that would be a really smarmy move on your part.
Why? I don't think it's...
You're predicting it with at least the possibility that it gets delayed.
Yes,
whereas I'm
slightly.
saying it's not getting out of this year. Do you
I would love it.
Do you want to put it on the line?
Am I saying...
Do you think it's coming out this year or not?
Is this part of my prediction?
I guess it doesn't have to be, but I feel I'm sort of challenging you on this one. So... And I feel like for the sake of putting a more firm divide between our two predictions, it would be more fun for one of us. I think it's coming out this year. I don't think it is getting delayed at all.
Now, remind me, when was the date shown?
It just said 2021.
When?
At the PS5,
so
the second PS5 show.
Like August of last year?
It was August or September, I want to say.
So fully during COVID.
Yes.
So that was with COVID delays in mind, or with the way they were working with COVID in mind.
Maybe you can assume that.
People were already working in COVID, I should say. Ah, man.
You have said, I know that you've said that it's getting pushed.
I think it's getting pushed. I just don't know how far.
I mean, even if it gets pushed to, because the original or the first was released in February.
Yes.
Which to me, that's the second most logical place for it to be.
Fuck it, it's next year.
Okay.
All right, I will say, but that takes away my no earlier than June thing, or no later than June thing. I'm saying.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna say it's 2022 now.
Fair.
I'll revise it slightly.
So you're just saying it gets.
They might because I imagine for PR. Well, I don't know. They could go one of two ways. Sony does occasionally do exact date.
Yeah.
But
see, I'm saying it like I didn't say exact date. I said fall.
But it still just says 2021.
Yeah. Or I'm saying that they give them enough wiggle room to like. If it gets pushed back a month and gets released at like the end of November, at least they don't have to say, "Oh, it's been delayed a little bit."
Right.
They give themselves a little bit of wiggle room.
I think it's next year.
Okay.
Whose prediction is it? Mine?
I don't remember. We sort of.
Well, yeah, you did your God of War one.
Yeah.
So it'd be me.
Fair. Yeah, because we got two more each for PlayStation.
All right. Oh man. The Last of Us Factions is shown.
God, I thought about it.
We lose our shit at how good it looks. Out before August ends.
No. Oh.
I think it's this summer-ish.
Dude. Oh, my Lord.
So August 31st would count, but if it's in September, it doesn't count as much.
Oh, my God. I would lose my absolute mind.
It's got to be soon, man.
I don't know what to think about it at this point. Like, I feel like it either, has to be soon. Because I feel like they want to move on to whatever the next thing Naughty Dog is working on is for promotional purposes. Yeah. So it's either like we need to get this out or we need to decide this isn't happening.
Right.
Which I really hope they don't do.
I think there are two realities to it. Either they went forward and said, you know what, Last of Us 2, it's all about the single player, nobody cares about the multiplayer, whatever. And then they received the fan backlash of like, no, hey, we really like the Last of Us multiplayer, and they're like, oh shit, and started scrambling to make this. Or this was the plan all along, which there were like hiring things in like 2017 of multiplayer stuff, so you would think that's what the plan was.
A very conspicuous. I don't remember if it was a statement from like Neil Druckmann or someone at Naughty Dog who's basically like,
"Stay tuned.
We know what you want."
Yes, yeah. That's kind of what I'm alluding to.
Like, so, and I'm pretty sure they explicitly said like, we haven't forgotten about factions or something to that extent.
I don't know if that's going to be called Last of Us Factions, but just the multiplayer.
That seems the most logical title, but you never know. All right,
your fourth one.
At long last, new DualSense colors
I
are
almost
coming.
did this exact thing.
We see at least 2 new shades shown off.
I mean, if they're going to do colors, they would show, I would think, at least 3. But.
Yeah. I think 2 is a good place to start. I just don't think they'll do just one.
No.
So I'm saying they'll at least get multiple new colors, which is funny because I saw like a completely unverified rumor about this earlier today. Basically saying that red and gray were already being like rumored, which I'm like, well, I feel at that point they'd also throw in like a blue, but you never know.
What colors would you want to see most?
Blue, maybe black.
Black would be interesting.
Probably black, blue, and some sort of like silverish something.
Silver would be cool.
Yeah.
I've always wanted, and they've not made one. They didn't make a dual shock. I've always wanted like a bright neon yellow.
Ooh.
I think that'd be really cool.
That would be cool.
Especially with the two-tone of the DualSense.
Yeah. See, that's what I was wondering. I was like, well, you could remix one color of
like
it
the
and
top
not
and
the other.
If you don't know what we're talking about.
Here it is.
The top and
in
the
all its
bottom
glory.
of the DualSense. You could do different colors. I did a bunch of mock-ups for different DualSenses, and I got an IGN for it.
Yeah,
weirdly.
you did.
So that's my one credit, an IGN.
Because I would love it if just you replace the white with blue. You make it all black, or you make it like all silver or something like that. There's a lot.
All blue would look cool.
Honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of craving anything different.
I will buy the first new color I can.
Because I was about to buy another one the other day just to have another one, but I was like, I can hold out a little longer.
That's what I keep thinking, dude. I can wait. I can wait for another one.
Yeah.
Oh, man, my last PlayStation prediction. I don't even know what to do. All right, I'm going to go... All right. No, I'm going to go for the hype one. A very brief teaser is shown for PlayStation's newest revival, Resistance. The one hole in their catalog.
I would bet against you hard. But.
Oh, yeah, for sure. If we had that system, I would not go with this.
Yeah.
I feel like if they're missing one hole in their catalog, it's a shooter.
Yeah.
So, would kind of
I guess
make
that's true,
sense.
especially considering they're now going up against Xbox, who just acquired the developer of two of the biggest shooter franchises out there with Doom and Wolfenstein.
Yep.
And they already have Halo, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gears.
Man. Yeah, if
That's my most fun one.
I would love that, honestly.
I would too. I'd be super into it. I don't know who's developing
Never mind.
it.
Killzone 4.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be fine with that too.
All right. My last PlayStation prediction.
Yeah.
And this is the one that sort of... I'm going to say that they don't go all in on a new like PlayStation Now type service yet. But I think that they're sort of patchwork solution going forward in the meantime. The PlayStation Plus collection, which was the thing that was announced in tandem with the PS5, where like Days Gone, Last of Us, God of War, Bloodborne, like all of these
Crash Bandicoot collection,
Resident Evil, like Monster Hunter
Persona
World,
5,
all sorts of games, are free if you have PlayStation Plus when you get the PS5. At least 5 games will be added to the PlayStation Plus collection.
I like it. That's a smart prediction.
And so, because like, you know, Game Pass is great, and we've talked about ad nauseum the value of Game Pass.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of things on Game Pass that you're overlooking that you don't care as much about. You just want the top tier stuff.
Sure.
At this point, there's a ton of value in the PlayStation Plus collection already.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just expanding that a little bit and saying, I don't know exactly how many games are in it at this point. Yeah. Probably like 10 to 15.
15 to 20.
You up that to 20.
Right.
Like, and say, hey, these 20 games are free if you just have
just
PlayStation
buy a
Plus.
PS5. Get your hands on one.
And these are good, high quality, like AAA, big budget games. I think that's a good temporary solution. So that is my formal guess for that.
Man, we're out of PlayStation predictions.
Yeah.
Damn. Do you want me to read you the rest of mine?
I do have one bonus PlayStation prediction too.
Okay.
So
I'll go through all of mine and then you do yours.
Sure.
Top us off. Horizon Frozen Wild is coming out this September.
Frozen Wilds was the DLC to the first one.
Sorry, what's the new one called?
Forbidden West.
I have HFW written down. Sorry, that's why my
awesome.
brain went Frozen Wild. Sorry. Gran Turismo 7 gets an extensive amount of time shown. We probably get bored. 2022 was my other one.
That's a good,
Elden Ring is shown and it's this year.
My one of mine is just Elden Ring will be somewhere, please. Is what I wrote for that one.
This one I actually think is a pretty decent bet. Playdead, the developer of Limbo and Inside, their next game is revealed. Not a sequel, it's just a new IP. This is the dumbest thing I've ever written.
Okay.
The show ends with 3 slides of images. Or just text. Agent. 2023. Rockstar and Naughty Dog.
Oh my lord.
Because we've talked about, I've talked about I would love for Naughty Dog to do a spy game.
Yeah.
And it's like, Rockstar still they still own the IP. I want Naughty Dog to do a spy game. Here we go.
I mean, is that the biggest possible collab
ever? Yeah.
In video game studios, like
yeah,
ugh.
It's not gonna happen. I just thought it was funny.
See, my other bonus one is not nearly as high. This is the one that I had on here. I replaced it with the DualSense color thing. When I saw that tweet today, I was like, yeah, this seems like the time to like show off new DualSense colors.
I've been talking about DualSense colors all week for some reason, so I want it.
But my other one was going to be, there will be at least 3 PS5 upgrades announced. So like a game that's already out on PS4, and we're saying like, I
misunderstood.
No, yeah, we're getting a 4K 60 frames up-res version of X game,
right?
And there would be like 3 separate of those.
I
could see like a
bet.
montage of that, in the middle of the show or something like that.
What would those games be that you would want to see?
Though that I would want to see.
Yeah, like,
Red Dead.
Oh, great call! Great call.
That's the first and foremost, like not even a question.
Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that's the other one. Third, I don't know, but there's plenty of options.
Yeah.
Honestly, well, Horizon kinda.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's gonna get anything,
because I just started replaying it a little bit last week and kind of stopped when I realized that when you go back and forth between the fidelity and performance modes, like it's already just you're either picking between 4K at the fidelity mode
or 60 FPS,
but it's not locked at 60 FPS. It's just uncapped. So it doesn't always hit 60. Right. I would love a locked-in 64K version of that.
Yeah, which would probably take some work.
Yeah, so those are 3 good candidates right there, but obviously there are numerous.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of breezed through those.
I know, we got through them faster than I thought. There wasn't as much discussion.
We didn't ask questions.
Yeah,
we just through them.
We were just excited. Fun. Yeah,
because there will be. There's going to be plenty of room for discussion, and obviously, something tells me 80 to 85% of these won't happen. They will fall by the wayside.
No,
and we'll never talk about them again. So any discussion that would have happened
next year
would have been useless.
Right.
But there will be plenty of discussion to come later about everything that does happen.
That's true,
and I'm very excited.
I have a couple questions.
Hit me.
Do we see Call of Duty anywhere? I almost made a prediction, but I was like, it's too boring.
Of course we see Call of Duty somewhere.
PlayStation?
If I had to guess, yeah.
I would think so too.
Especially where if Halo is not at Xbox, there's no reality.
No, Halo has to be
not
at
Xbox.
I almost made my prediction that it opens the show.
I could see that.
I feel like they want to get it out of the way.
It'd be so weird to... if Halo is not at Xbox, they're pretty much relying entirely on the Bethesda stuff to be their new stalwart exclusive branch going forward.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I still don't know what to think, whether Halo is still going to be good and people are going to be pleasantly or respond well to whatever upgrades they make.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly not buying a console anytime soon for that game.
I wouldn't buy, no. And again, the Xbox value proposition is so weird to me because, again, I own a PC.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really like the time I spent on Xbox One, but it was so brief.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I had Game Pass for like 3 months. I played Outer Worlds and Hollow Knight, I think I played on Game Pass. And, like, I played some really good games there. And I was like, all right, I don't want to pay for Game Pass anymore. Back to PlayStation.
Yeah.
It was very weird. Do we see any celebrity cameos was my other question. I saw something in my sort of research where someone pitched the idea of Keanu coming on stage or going onto the presentation and apologizing for Cyberpunk, which I thought was really funny.
There's no chance that happens, but I could see a non-Tony Hawk professional skater coming out for Skate.
Oh, that's a good call.
I don't think they'll have any other athlete. The Tiger Woods thing is like, I don't know what I would do. However, I thought about this earlier.
Okay.
We had discussed the, because, for longtime listeners of our 8-episode long podcast, we discussed our hypest of all time predictions, basically that we will celebrate if they ever happened.
Right.
I have decided what I'm going to do.
Okay.
And you don't have to decide right now. We've got weeks to talk about it before E3.
Yeah.
But I've decided that if one of my crazy things happens...
Yeah.
Tanner, you know I'm a lover of a good margarita.
You do love a margarita.
And we discussed the possibility of buying like expensive bottles of some liquor and popping them only if one of our things happened.
Right, yeah.
But I don't think that would be very entertaining for the folks out there to watch me drink a very expensive margarita.
Okay.
Here's what would be.
All right.
I've decided that if one of my things happens, I'm going to make not literally the world's spiciest margarita.
Oh.
But a really, really spicy margarita with like habaneros. Like because I'm gonna make it taste good, but I'm gonna make it hurt for you, the folks out there.
Dude,
and I will drink it on the podcast with you and try to keep a straight face.
That would be awesome.
That is my official thing that's gonna happen.
I like it. I've done spicy peppers for charity streams and for like anniversary streams and stuff, and I was basically told by the community, they were like, stop doing this to yourself. It's not fun for us to watch you go through pain.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, that's fair. Now, granted, you haven't done it yet.
Yeah. And
so
you know me.
I do.
I love spicy stuff.
I was going to say, this is more up your alley regularly than mine.
For folks out there who are familiar with Hot Ones, the YouTube show,
yeah,
I had The Last Dab in my fridge at home right now.
I would say a good percentage when we lived together of our refrigerator was dedicated to hot sauces.
A not insignificant
fraction.
fraction.
There was like at least 20% of the door's worth of condiments was hot
I'm not
sauces.
like a person who goes to like chili head conventions and like does that kind of thing.
Is that a thing?
Oh yeah.
Chili head? Is that what it's called? Or is that the fan base?
Yes. People who like are fans of like hot peppers and unique hot sauces are like chili heads.
They're not the Brovilles?
That's good.
Thank you.
That's really good. I'm going to call myself a Broville instead of a chili head because I'm not particularly interested in the peppers themselves. I'm like, what kind of hot sauce can you make out of this that I can like dip my chicken wing in or whatever?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan. Like my brother got me like I think it was sort of wrapped up like a piece of dynamite. And it was like 5 bottles of hot sauce. I think they're called Swift
nice.
Burn. It was the
God.
brand name. It was like 5 different flavors. They weren't very good. They weren't even very hot. But I was very excited when I saw them.
I mean, the packaging sounds great.
So yeah, I'm a big hot sauce fan. So I would probably do something to the effect of like muddle in like whole habaneros into a margarita or something like that. I've never gone hotter than a habanero in an actual pepper.
Habaneros are what I ate for charity streams and stuff. They're fucking hot.
They are hot. But The Last Dab does have like the hottest pepper in the world in it, but when it's converted into a hot sauce, it's significantly
distilled.
milder.
Yeah.
Not to say it's mild in any form.
Sure.
But I will make a ridiculously hot margarita and drink it on the show.
Can we petition to give you a nickname of the Broville unit?
Yes.
Just call you the unit.
I will keep working out and I will
become the Broville unit.
Imagine me getting like a tattoo of a chili pepper on my bicep.
Hell yeah,
and being
dude.
like, this is the I'm the Broville unit. First of all, that's never going to happen. I don't care what prediction I would have to nail for that to happen. But I like the nickname.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do for mine. I think I would go more pleasure than pain. But maybe I'll go pain. I don't know, in a different way.
Yeah. I like to exhibit myself to a little bit of torture just for people's entertainment pleasure.
What if I just made an old-fashioned, but swapped the amount of bitters and bourbon? It would be disgusting.
Oh.
It would be so bad.
I would much rather drink a really, 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 really spicy margarita than that. But
No, I'd rather drink the bitters.
Gosh,
It would
just smell like Christmas.
It would, and your tongue would just be like numb
Yeah.
by the end of it.
It'd be like drinking straight Szechuan peppercorns for anybody who knows about that.
This is our side podcast, Foodies.
Hey, start a
Watch
Patreon
out.
right now. We honestly might be more qualified to do that.
The current podcast we're doing. I love it.
Anyway, Tanner, do you have a recommendation?
Voice break. I haven't played any games this week. I'm
you
gonna
got a
say,
movie? You watching something interesting?
do you do anything with your time? No, I was gonna say I'm gonna recommend the Celeste soundtrack. Go listen to that soundtrack.
I was very close to buying it the other day. Not just the soundtrack, but the game.
It's one of the best game soundtracks I've ever heard. So go listen to that. That's my recommend.
I won't until I play it because I will play it.
That's the best way to do it, obviously. But if you
know what, now that I've beaten the game that I'm going to recommend again, Returnal.
Yeah.
It's definitely on my very much on the top of my must play next list.
Yeah.
But just to fully summarize, here's my brief overall review of Returnal.
Okay, go for it.
immaculate gameplay.
Yes.
Especially if you're a fan of shooters.
It feels so good.
Silky smooth, great enemy variety, fun, lots of guns. The environment is very foreboding. There is some repetition of, obviously you're playing the game and you sort of repeats.
Yeah.
And that's a roguelite for you. But there's more of that you sort of see as you get into it. Man, it's hard to quantify because I'm not going to talk about the story yet. Because I will say that I won't talk about it.
Okay.
I liked it, but there are more specific details that I would want to get into.
Sure.
And we will eventually.
It's not a detractor, you would say.
No, absolutely not. But I left having more questions.
That's fair.
Which is kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing.
It's just a sci-fi thing.
Yeah.
Like, movies do that too.
But yeah, I'm going to give Returnal... I'm going to go on the 100-point scale since I touted my love for...
We'll set the precedent
the
for
most,
100-point scales.
Granular scale possible.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 9.1.
Oh, interesting.
Because I feel like there's a lot of games out there that are like, if this game is great... My gut reaction is like it's like a 9.
It's a 9, yeah.
And I want to give some sort of indicator that I think this game's a little better than great.
Okay.
I'm not going to put it up in like the higher echelons of games that I've played, but it is 100% my front runner for Game of the Year at this point, and I would be surprised if anything tops it except God of War. If God of War comes out this year, that is the only thing that I see on the horizon. Except in Horizon, I do not anticipate Horizon being as good, mainly because the first one was great but didn't grab me quite the way it might have some other people.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
But if God of War sticks this year, there's a genuine challenger and probably Usurper, because I don't imagine that game thing being much less than perfect. Not to put too high of expectations on it.
Watch out, Corey.
But Returnal, phenomenal game. Can't wait for you to beat it.
Oh yeah,
so we can discuss it
I will
further.
at least make lots of progress this week. And
There is a point that I want you to reach, which isn't even terribly further in, because then that's where the discussion really starts. I think.
You know what would be an interesting topic for us? I'm just saying this now, so it's somewhere. Going through either games we've both played or like all of the PlayStation games or something like that, and giving them scores.
I like that a lot.
Because I've not given a game a score in so long.
Me neither. That's a good point.
It would be really fun to just go through.
We can set like our review standard.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
And set the precedent for people, because we're both big preachers of if you're looking for review opinions and scores, find someone you agree with.
Yeah.
And I think the only way to set that precedent early is to go through, well, here's most of the games we've played, and here's the scores we would give them.
You know what? I'm going to tentatively plan for that between now and E3, because I really like that idea.
Cool.
And then for the meantime, to sort of continue to frame how you should view my review, and you've already done a little bit. If you like shooters, you're like me. If you like challenging games, obviously I've talked big about my love for the Souls games and games that are like big, difficult, boss heavy, which this game is. That is my style of game. That's honestly the type of game that I've craved more in the last few years than any other. I've been chasing that Soulsy experience.
That Bloodborne high, man.
Ever since. So this game scratched that itch, but in a completely different gameplay style than those games. So absolutely, if that is your kind of game, you should get Returnal right now. And to address the other critique that some people have had of Returnal, maybe we could talk briefly about this. People have wondered about, is Returnal worth $70?
Oh my God, yes.
Like
100%.
And I might have beaten it quicker than the average person would. I might have beaten it just under 20 hours. And some people have said like it's maybe in like the 25-hour ballpark for them.
Yeah. I think I'm at 8 right now.
And the thing that we've seen it compared to is Resident Evil, which just released. Neither of us have touched it. I don't know.
No, I've seen gameplay. I've watched quite a bit of it.
I've seen a little bit. I've seen some clips. I've seen the tall vampire lady.
Hell yeah, lady.
Dimitrescu.
That's it. She's hot.
But people have said that game can take about 10 hours.
Yeah.
And I saw that 12. It can be speed runned or whatever.
You can beat it in 2 hours.
Yeah, 2 or 3 hours is what I saw.
Which, to be fair,
a lot of games you can.
The speed run of Returnal is 6 minutes. So I swear someone said that to me a couple days ago. Someone has beaten that game in 6 minutes.
Okay, well, I have questions.
I do too, but I don't have any answers for you.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna put my questions out into the ether.
Would that be with shortcuts, or is that a brand new start, as most speedruns are?
Because if it's a brand new start, I think there's no way.
There has to be
glitches or something.
Yeah.
Which, considering that we already know there are a
couple
couple
glitches. I'm going to look it up. Hold on.
Go ahead.
We have the internet at our disposal.
But I'll vamp a little bit about the $70 thing.
Please do.
There are tons of games out there that you could get far less entertainment value from that still cost $70 that you could pretty easily justify paying that amount for. And it's all about a lot of different aspects of a game. But if people are willing to pay $70 for Resident Evil Village based on its technical fidelity, its namesake and IP legacy, then you should look at a game like Returnal and say, hey, the game looks great. It obviously has very crisp gameplay, and I could probably invest more time in it than this other game.
That's true.
It's absolutely worth $70. I also don't begrudge you if you don't want to spend that amount for it.
Sure.
But for those out there who can afford it and choose to, go for it.
I think Village is $60 to be fair, but even then, like I've talked about this a lot. By the way, the world record for Returnal at any % fresh file on New Game Plus, but it's a fresh New Game Plus file, is 5 minutes and 56 seconds.
I'm gonna have to look that up, and I want
you to watch it and see what happens because I don't want to watch it yet. But I completely lost. I've never liked the time equals cost comparison with video games. I always hate that. I think what a game is worth is definitely up to you.
It is.
I have been Gone Home is one of my favorite experiences ever in a game. It's like movie length. I do think it's silly when people are like, Returnal's not worth $70. Let me go watch a movie at $20 a pop. It's like, well, if you're doing your time value analysis with Returnal, and I was, to be fair, before I knew the full extent of this game, I did say on this podcast, like, kind of surprised at $70. Now that I know what it is, and I'm not judging it based on Housemarque's previous games, it is totally worth $70.
It's worth questioning going in, but once you've experienced it.
Once you know, it's amazing.
Oh, now you've opened another can of worms.
Okay.
How much value would you put into Gone Home? What would your MSRP for Gone Home be based on its like artistic and narrative value?
I want to say it was $20 when it launched.
Okay.
To me personally, I'm not going to put a number on it, but I have had a way more profound experience playing Gone Home than I have several $60 games. So in that regard, I guess it's a $60 game. Now, granted, would I ask people to pay $60 for Gone Home? No, because that would cause a riot. I totally get it, but I think that's a good point of like what you value stuff at is completely different from what anybody else values stuff at. Right?
And I say, because I agree with you, like value is in the eye of the beholder.
Sure.
However, I have made the point on a prior podcast that a game like Red Dead, to me, because of its hypothetical gameplay time that you could put into it, could be worth north of $100. And I think that it would be totally justifiable to pay that for it. So I think there's a difference between the price that you recommend a game start at, like your MSRP, and the game that it could hold to an individual person, or the value that it could hold.
Sure.
Like,
100%.
Spider-Man, like, if you'd have told me, if all that I had ever seen was that first Spider-Man trailer, and someone came to me and said, Jay, you are only allowed to buy this if you will pay the maximum amount that you would willingly pay for it, I would have paid like $300 for that game.
Dude.
I was so excited. So
now, I will say too that I'm sure throughout the case of this podcast, I think we've already done this, there will be times where we recommend a game but maybe not at full price.
Yeah.
And that's not to say it's not worth full price. It's just sometimes individual worth is different for different people, right? I think we did this with Hitman 3, where it was like, if you can get all 3 games for a certain price, then totally go for it.
Yeah, I recommended that game, wholeheartedly, but knowing that those games go on sale often, I was like, this is an opportunity for you to get a great game at a reduced price.
And at some point, all 3 will be offered for $60.
Yeah.
That's going to happen. And that is an amazing buy.
100%.
So that's the kind of thing that we both kind of lead toward. I'm probably more of a proponent of like waiting for sales for stuff. I've wanted NBA 2K21 forever, and I just bought it because it just dropped down to $40. But I think a lot of it depends on how soon you want to play it, right? That's the whole thing with games. And part of podcasting is like being part of the zeitgeist. So sometimes we have to buy earlier, but
and that's the difference too between like a game like 2K where there's no story that you could spoil,
right?
Versus a game like God of War or something like that. Where
you have to.
If you wait 2 weeks, you are risking spoilers every day that you don't buy it and just play it and go media blackout.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Well, that was a fun little side conversation.
It was.
And I love your idea of setting a review score for games that we've played so far. So that is in the pipeline for folks out there.
Sweet.
But for now, get excited because E3 is on the way. By the time this releases...
Please be excited for E3.
Exactly. By the time this releases, E3 will be pretty much a month away exactly.
Hell yeah.
So the countdown is on, and we'll be counting down here. But until then, we're tapping out.